course holds more coffee. And then you can set your coffee pot on there, and it has an M marked on it. Hello, welcome to Waypoint Survival. Today I'm going to show you a minimalist hobo cook kit. Stay tuned. Because of the way that they traveled, hobos had to travel light. It just wasn't conducive to carrying a lot of heavy gear. And so based on my research, what I've read and books and articles I've studied from old newspapers, I've put together a very basic and bare bones minimal cook kit. And I think that you'll like it. Now, it's been said in something I read recently that for some of those who lived back in those days, all you really needed was a tin cup and a spoon. Well, that might have been fine if you were just going from work camp to work camp and staying with the other hobos in the hobo jungle, where all you had to do was stick out the cup and spoon it in. Of course, you worked during the day for your food. But if you were doing any time solo and you might have to be on your own or put up a camp just by yourself, then obviously you would need some sort of a lightweight minimal kit that you could pack and carry that would help you make your meals and stay healthy. And of course, after a long day of hard work, a hot meal always tastes good. The first thing you'll notice is we're carrying this minimalist kit in a bag. This is a canvas bag that's been treated with a wax type treatment. And this was to keep the soot off of your other items in your bag that you were carrying, and also to make sure that you could keep your kit together and would help prevent it rattling. Opening it up, just a couple of drawstring closures, some cotton cord. We have our first item, and this is our tin cup. Very, very important that you would have something you could drink out of. And the first item that we come to in this small tin is simply some sugar. Sugar was very important back then, as it is today, to sweeten things, and back then as now, many people also had a sweet tooth. The next item is a small wooden box, and it has an M marked on it. Inside we have some extra matches. This helps keep them dry. This would go along with the matches that one would carry in a pocket, in some sort of a small Vesta case, or even a lighter. But you always want to have extra matches. You couldn't have too many of them. They were cheap and plentiful, easy to come by. The next item, this cocoa tin, is not cocoa, but rather coffee. An old standby of many a hobo. If you couldn't get something to eat, at least you could have a cup of coffee, and this was something that they always carried. The next item is a 2-cup coffee pot. This is a percolator. It is complete, and these were very common. Glass top, nice handle. Of course, you'd have to keep this off of the fire. This one has been singed somewhat. And I heard one lady talk about her father, who was an engineer on the railroad. And while he was in the locomotive, he would keep a small 2-pot or 2-cup pot like this sitting on top of the steam engine, where it would keep his coffee hot all day. And so that's a really nice thing, and a very vintage something you would find in a hobo's pack that is small and easy to carry. You could always have coffee. The previous pot that I showed you in another video, in the haversack survival video, was a 1-cup pot. So this is twice as big, of course holds more coffee. The next item that we have, wrapped up in a rag, we have a couple of these. Could be used both for a dish towel as well as to wash the dishes with. But we have a glass vial of salt with a screw top lid. This would be important because salt is corrosive, and you would want to keep this away from your other items, as well as to make sure that it stayed dry in all sorts of weather. Next, wrapped up in another rag, and the reason we have two, again, one is a wash rag and the other is for drying. We have a spoon. This is a Civil War era spoon that I happened to find at the Salvation Army. Give you an idea of the markings there. But you would definitely want a spoon. And then also a pair of pliers. These are old Ford pliers. And this would be great for picking up things off the fire, moving things around, doing repairs with your gear. But as many of you know, when a fire gets really hot, it's nice to be able to grab something, to be able to pull it out and not burn your hands. You can use the rag for the very same purpose, but sometimes it's nice just to be able to reach into the fire, pair of pliers, very quickly grab something out, and saves you a lot of trouble. The next item in our Minimalist Hobo Cook Kit is a small frying pan. And this would also double as a plate. So along with the cup and the spoon, you'd be able to go just about anywhere and make sure that you got a good meal, and you'd be able to work around whatever you needed, and that would save you from having to carry around an extra pie plate or a tin plate. This would serve both purposes. The very last item is a grater. Now, you could use this for grating your vegetables, all of that of course, but this has another use which is much handier, and it's lightweight and easy to carry. You simply get your fire started in between a couple of logs like this or a couple of rocks. You could even dig out a hole in the ground if you prefer. Then you put your grater right across like this, and then you can set your coffee pot on there, warm up something in your tin cup, or use the frying pan to good effect. And that way you can feed the fire, there's good airflow, and you have a little bit more control over what the fire does as far as the heat. This is James Bender for Waypoint Survival. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also make sure and check out the links in the description box below, just under the More button. And while you're down there, you'll also find our waypointsurvival.com link. And this is where you can sign up to take survival and bushcraft classes at our beautiful training facility in Southern Ohio. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel. We'd really appreciate it. And when you do subscribe, make sure and press that bell button so that you can stay notified of all of our upcoming videos, and we'll talk to you next time.